Ignoring your boredom might be the fastest way to trigger complete cognitive burnout. In a world that's been engineered to keep your attention constantly stimulated, boredom can almost feel like it's a glitch in your system of productivity. Neuroscience suggests something very different, though. What we call boredom may actually be a protective neurological response, a sort of built-in safety mechanism that can help to shield our brains from being overwhelmed from stimulation. If the situation, and therefore the sensory load, becomes too intense, the mind begins to slow down the perception of time. The minutes start crawling, but not because nothing is happening. It's because your brain's deliberately forcing itself into this recovery mode. Everyone knows this feeling. You glance at the clock, and only 30 seconds have passed since last time. When you're in a low stimulus environment, the brain begins to oversample time. This is why time goes by faster when you're busy at work, and slower if you're not. Instead of processing large chunks of experience, it starts analyzing smaller and smaller fragments of your immediate reality. This can result in a strange paradox. The fewer events that happen around you, the more aware you are of each passing second. Time can feel too slow, almost painful sometimes. Yet in our hyper-stimulated world in 2026, the opposite is usually what happens. We're always getting notifications of some type. Everyone is into the short-form video loops now. The algorithm is engineered for the delivery of dopamine spikes. I'm hoping I spiked your dopamine in this very video so I can retain your attention and deliver this message. Your brain's always jumping from stimulus to stimulus so quickly. Entire hours can actually vanish without any conscious awareness. When that stimulation suddenly disappears, like when you're stuck in a quiet room, you're waiting, or otherwise just doing nothing, that's when our nervous system experiences friction. It's because the mind wants to rebel against the stillness. But what feels like torture might actually be good for us in the long run. So I guess boredom's actually some type of defense mechanism. Our brains run on electricity that's firing between billions and billions of neurons. Every single thought, image, sound, movement, and decision requires our synapses to fire. But like any part of our body, our synapses do become tired. Constant stimulation forces our neural networks to stay in the state of non-stop action, which also includes the part of the brain that's responsible for focusing on doing external tasks. This network is actually known as the task-positive network. It usually activates when you're solving problems, but also if you're scrolling, watching videos, and reacting to what's going on. So when stimulation becomes excessive, the brain begins to trigger this internal circuit breaker. The activity shifts toward a different system, the default mode network. So instead of focusing outward, our minds will turn inward. Your memory processing begins, and emotional integration starts, which makes the creative connections. What you experience during this shift is often interpreted as boredom. But as far as your brain's concerned, it's more like a firewall that's activating, which is there to prevent a cognitive overload. Something even stranger happens during these quiet states. Your perception of time becomes disconnected from objective time. Deep within our brains, there's a little region. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN for short. And that's the tiny biological clock that regulates all of our circadian rhythms and our internal peripheral clocks. It's what says that it's time to get up, or that the microwave's about to beep. And it's what tells my cat that it's time for his pills, even if we forgot. When our sensory input drops, or, in other words, our cognitive fatigue sets in, those internal timing signals begin to slow down, and that makes time feel slower. This sort of temporal distortion creates that psychological buffer zone we talked about earlier. So instead of racing forward with those incessant external demands, the brain wants some space so it can do its own internal maintenance. Our cellular repair increases, and it allows the emotions to be reorganized so the connections are fixed, but quietly. So basically, Our brains aren't just sitting there idly, they're rebalancing. During a time of extreme or prolonged boredom, the brain can even enter a rare condition that you could call neurological preservation. All of the external stimuli fade into the background. Those natural algorithms that normally can control your attention lose their grip on you. When in this state, cortisol levels can often drop because the stress chemistry begins to become more stable. And while this is happening, the brain's ability to form new neural pathways, or neuroplasticity, actually improves. This is why some of the most creative insights appear during moments like that. This is where shower thoughts come from. So what can feel like emptiness is actually a detox of sorts. Our brains actually make a space so more original ideas can finally emerge. We know that our Western modern culture treats boredom like some kind of wrongdoing or a failure. If you're not stimulated, entertained, or productive, then obviously something must be wrong, right? Likely, no. Modern neuroscience suggests the exact opposite, in fact. Much like our muscles need time to recover after a period of activity, our brains need to do the same thing. In this overstimulated world, the ability to tolerate peace and quiet has already become a rare skill, reserved solely for monks or something. Stillness is actually a luxury, probably one of the most important strategies for our mental health these days. Protecting your mind might require something that we're rarely allowed anymore: doing nothing.